In January 2001, Ann and I went down to the ocean just for a week or so, probably to get away from our 7 kids. She needed the respite, I'm sure, and it sleeted, it rained, it snowed, and occasionally the sun would come out. But I had a camera and I would walk the beach and take some great photographs. So it was a wonderful week. And then toward the end of the week, one morning I awoke and the sun was just pouring in the window. It was just wonderful. I was almost awestruck because it was so brilliant. And I thought, well, I've got to grab my camera and get down on the beach and take all the pictures I can possibly take. And then I immediately went to sleep. Then I began to dream, and my father was there. Now, I might mention that my dad died when I was 14 years old. We were in the garden working together. My dad started to cough and had severe pains, and he had a stroke and died that day. I dreamed my dad was standing there. It was so palpable and real that I felt I could just reach out and touch him. And he said, "Jack, we're going to have war. Plant root crops." And that was all. And but it woke me up. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, dreams are absolutely crazy. You just never can account for what you're dreaming, most of the time anyway. But I couldn't get it off my mind. And so when Ann woke up, I related the story to her. Now, Ann is a spiritual anchor for me, and I was really waiting to hear what she thought of this whole thing. And so I repeated the story to her, and she said, well, that's really interesting. I just finished reading a historical novel, about the Second World War in England. And she said, guess what they asked them to do? They really exhorted them to do this, everybody. And I said, I don't know. And she said, they asked them to plant root crops for 2 different reasons. One was that root crops will often winter over. They may not look beautiful, but they still have nutrition and good food to eat. And secondly, and maybe equally as important, invading forces coming in generally will not go out and dig in a weed patch. They take what's off the shelf or available, and then that's it. It's gone. So I was really impressed at the time that I had to do something to personally learn more and gain more skills when it comes to gardening. I've always enjoyed gardening, but I wasn't really I certainly wasn't a master gardener, and I needed to learn a lot more. And then as I did this, I began to realize that very few people around me were gardening anymore. It was a thing of the past. It has died pretty much. And I became really obsessed with the idea that I had to learn all I could and then put this into a format where I could hopefully convince people and excite them about raising their own food. And there's many, many different reasons why we should do this, as you will see as we progress through the film.